I have this spread here, Celtic Cross. I wonder if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see. Okay. We're getting clear in mental capacity as well as with responsibilities. Really assessing day to day the burdens we carry, if they're worth it. Especially now when livelihood is being put to the test. It's everybody's scrambling around, right? And everybody's trying to just make sure they can work and live, and they're putting in all this effort to do so. Pay attention to the feet, the many miles you've walked, the many trips and commutes you've taken back and forth, and this whole routine. You have it structured in a way that you can carry it, that you can handle it, that you have been handling it. And I mean, it's a particular way that you fit your shoes that others cannot, right? You throw something into the mix that is, I mean, because you got a handle, this is past position. You've had a handle on the way in which you carry all of your responsibilities. You do it every single day. Present position is the Six of Swords. Again, look at the feet. For those who are watching, for those who are listening, their feet are positioned in the same direction. It's just being, and this Six of Swords actually looks like somebody is taking measures into their own hands to move others away from or to, it could be commuting, it could be going to check on other people, women, children, elders, and the like, instead of doing what you would normally be doing, which is carrying all your responsibilities. You got your car, full of your work stuff, your gym stuff, you got to do something at the store when you finish, a return that you've been waiting to, get a refund for, or whatever. You pack up all your things for the day because you're singularly focused on what your to-do list entails. This is showing that others are being taken into consideration. Other people are in mind, and you start to think of who needs you versus what you need to do for today. It kind of shifts gears from your day-to-day routine and everything that you're prioritizing to actually having a sense of urgency to check on others who may not be as fortunate or who may not have adequate assistance. Now is a time globally where people are being thoughtful and checking in with relatives, friends, colleagues, just people that they have in mind. At the root of it, we have the Star. And this is massive because when it comes down to it, no grudges or grievances are being held. It's the naked truth. It's really where people are getting clear that these are their true intentions. There's little time for abrasiveness. This is more of a panicked concern. there's a sense of urgency to assure that people are staying safe, that people are getting to the places they need to be. When usually you would be inundated with your own list and host of things to do, now we're taking it back a notch from the 10 to the 6 in a mental capacity versus all the toiling and clocking in, clocking out, 3 hours in traffic. If you're here in Atlanta, it's just, we're really starting to see what means what to whom. This is where people start to cast wishes to, well, I wish, I could be closer to family. I wish I could be, I would have taken those chances to go see so-and-so, or I wonder how they're doing. This is that star card where energies and people start to align, and they start to notice the calls that come in, the synchronicities, as far as, I was just thinking about you. You've been on my mind. And then you get a telephone call from someone you haven't talked to. That is what happens when you use that mental energy. It is actually the mental energy, those frequencies that it emit from the mind are picked up quicker than you can even imagine. Those are like radio frequencies where, the satellites are so far away and you can still hear, and you can still receive, and you can still, tune your radio depending on where you're at. You ride through Tennessee, you're going to hear country music. You ride through other states and you're going to hear whatever's current, but that's being picked up. The sincere nature of it. The lady on the star card is actually naked. And I see that as being sincere, being stripped of anything malicious that could intervene with your thoughts of others at this time. So on a subconscious level, what you don't necessarily see is the Ace of Wands, and it's sparking a new, how do I want to put this? It's a recombinant, if that's, when they talk about recombinant DNA, these 10 of Wands are actually condensed and compressed like a zip file, okay? And now you have to transmute all of those responsibilities, the way that you were carrying all of those duties and how you were spending all of your time and energy has to be compressed. And you have to really, with all of these things that I do, what is a desire? What is a must? What is an option? What is really important at this time? Because I need to make sure that I have a handle on it. I have one aspect, not just one aspect, but I have it clear cut, and I can do this and still be able to do all the other things that I desire to do as far as checking in on people. I should always be able, willing, and have time for assisting others in a time of trouble, in a time of need, being that safe place, being that that assistance. When did I lose the ability to do this as well as life itself? Isn't this what life is about? Six of Swords. In the near future placement, we have the Three of Swords. And it shows that this is a time where people are distressed. Besides the whole COVID thing going on, you have to consider rather people who don't normally even visit doctors or go get seen. They don't get any kind of health checks, right? This could prompt, especially after that Virgo full moon, especially the health consciousness, right? And people are realizing they're not as healthy as they once assumed. They figured since they weren't bleeding or nothing was broken, that they didn't need any health adjustments to their lifestyles. And this is a reminder that, oh man, now especially is a time when I need to get that checked out. This is a time where people are going to, those who already have issues with the heart or issues with the lungs here will already be susceptible. But two, this is where you start to cut people, places, and things out that are not for your health, emotionally and mentally. And without a second thought, because of the serious nature of what's happening, it's going to be far easier to cut those cords and to allow people to just be. When you think about it, even a person who has been on again, off again in relationships or friendships that just weren't seeming genuine, would you, Six of Swords, come to my aid if I need help? Would you actually be there to help me if I needed you? And it's looking like there are some decisions being made where you understand that they would not. You would not do the same for me. And this is cause and this is grounds for me removing open heart surgery, removing the blockages, because it isn't helping me. It is actually a hindrance. And now, with that 10 of Wands going down to the Ace of Wands, some of these responsibilities that you've been doing, or some of these obligations you've been holding yourself to, even loyalties to people, are being questioned. Because it's not only about survival, but it's about brotherhood. It's about community. It's about, and threes talk about communication, community, networking, and things of that nature. You're going to see where the breakdown is actually happening. And in the position of self, we have the Page of Swords, who is analyzing and doing just that, keeping tabs on Facebook and different updates, and you have people in different regions of the world. So you could be taking notice of what's happening in Italy or in Chicago, in New York, in LA, in Nevada, in Georgia, period. And it's a lot of hearsay. It's a lot of misguided information. But the Page of Swords is ready to sift and sort through this stuff. And your environment is the Ace of Swords. You can see the truth of the matter as far as how people feel, what side of the fence they lay on, as far as being full of shit or being full of aid and assistance and truth and honesty. Now people are being honest about their feelings because and what they're facing. They're being truthful about their fears. And that's something that I don't think has been witnessed before. When life is put on the line, which hopes and fears is justice, now people start to display a fairness that they didn't quite have before. And we end with Temperance, which is a needing to balance as well as staying hydrated. I have 4 cards with water, though one is tainted